Today, most teens are not struggling because they lack intelligence. They're struggling because they're constantly distracted, overwhelmed, and unsure of who they are. As a parent myself, I understand something many of us are quietly experiencing. We care deeply, we are involved, and yet there's a growing sense of something is not feeling right. Today's teens are growing up in an environment that's constantly pulling their attention away. Screens, notifications, comparisons, pressure, and it never stops. One major shift happened after COVID-19 pandemic. Almost every teenager suddenly had access to a personal smartphone. At that time it felt necessary, it felt like a solution for learning, connection and continuity. But what was not fully anticipated was the scale of uninterrupted, unregulated exposure that came with it, and exposure to all sorts of things. Since then, we have been seeing a steady rise in concerns, sleep disruptions, reduced attention spans, emotional instability, increasing dependence on screens, on substance and many more. Rising mental health concerns, harmful online exposure, self-harm and other risky behaviors. This is not happening far away. It's very visible around us. In the newspaper, on television, online platforms, in the reports from credible institutions and from Department of Education, Health, police records. And what makes it more important is that this shift is gradual, quiet, shall I say stealth, and easy to miss until the patterns are already formed. What we are seeing is not lack of ability, but a growing gap in direction. There is support around them, but not always the awareness to use it right. Opportunities are everywhere, yet constant distractions pull them away from it. And this is where our role becomes very important, not as controllers, but as steady guides, not reacting to every moment, but understanding what lies beneath it. Because even small, consistent efforts helping the teenager build awareness, focus, readiness can change the direction of their lives. And in many ways, it shapes the kind of society they will step into and contribute to later. This is why Ikigai Teen was created. It's a space where teens are guided to understand themselves, manage their digital world, and build emotional strength and move forward with clarity and direction. And where parents are supported not with pressure, not with comparison, but with practical, thoughtful guidance. Because supporting your teen today is not just about helping them do well, it's about ensuring that what's within your reach today does not slowly drift away tomorrow. If this resonates with you, Ikigai Teen is here to walk the journey with you. Ikigai Teen did not start as an idea. It developed from years of observation and a growing concern. For over 2 decades, I have worked closely with young people, including in environments that was not always easy to operate or live in. I mean to say areas or countries with active wars and decades of protracted war or conflict. In those places, the challenges were big, recurrent and visible. They were mostly external challenges, and more importantly, those challenges were out of limits of teenagers or their families or teachers to manage or to mitigate. And the society there, as well as those that went in there to assist, like people like us and my colleagues, knew what we were dealing with. As parents, teenagers or teachers from here in our country, we do not even know the fraction of the uncertainty looming large on their lives every seconds, every day, with no guarantee for their next meal, next night of sleep or next day of waking up alive. But in a country like India today, full of opportunity, peace and stability for more than 95% of our geography, and with the kind of potential available for anybody to create a profession, a future, a legacy? The challenge is simple and concerning. It's not war, it's not bombardments, it's not the type of uncertainty that I have seen there in those countries. The issues here are internal, personal, and largely within our personal hands to manage, and within the hands of the parents and educators also to support. The question here is, are we adequately diagnosing the issue we have here and offer help where exactly it is needed, and how best to offer it? After the pandemic, access to smartphones became almost universal for teens across the country. What felt necessary at that time opened the door to an entirely new environment, one that is fast, constant, and largely unpredicted. As I continued to my work and conversations with families, I began to notice patterns. Not a lack of intelligence, not a lack of exposure, but a quiet drift. A drift in attention, in confidence, in relationships, in family time, and in family bonds, friendship bonds, and in a clear sense of self. To parents, this became even more real. Despite their best intention, it was clear how difficult it is to navigate this new environment without the right understanding. Alongside this, I closely followed emerging research from India and across the world on teen mental health, attention, and digital behavior. The direction was becoming clearer to me. We are not dealing with isolated concerns. We are witnessing a larger shift in how young minds are growing and responding. Ikigai Teen has been built as a conscious response to this shift, grounded in experience, observation, and deep commitment to help teenagers grow with awareness, strength, and direction. And all of this are within their hands to achieve, of course with support from us. What we are seeing today is not always loud, but it's consistent across the country. Urban and rural are alike, economic sections alike, regions alike. It's not endemic to a certain location or a certain demographic. It is like a pandemic. That's why in Ikigai Teen talks and conversations, I refer to this as the pandemic after a pandemic. Many teens are constantly connected, yet increasingly disconnected from themselves and sometimes from their families. You may notice conversations becoming stronger, engagement reducing, and more time is being spent on screens. Tasks taking longer because of attention, not because of lack of ability, because of interruptions. Sleep cycles are shifting, late nights are becoming regular, normal, and over time confidence therefore becomes fragile, motivation becomes inconsistent, and goals begins to lose hold on the goal setter, the teenager. For parents, this creates a different type of challenge. Stepping in leads to resistance. Stepping back may look like distance or disinterest or less care. There is concern, but also there is an uncertainty about what is right and how to navigate this. This gap between what teens are experiencing and what parents are able to interpret to the extent they can is where the challenges begin to grow. This is not about blame. This is about understanding the challenging environment and responding with clarity. At Ikigai Teen, the approach is simple but intentional. We begin with awareness, wherein a teen understands their patterns, their distractions and strengths, and change becomes possible. We help them build focus and understanding on how attention works in a digital world. We support emotional strength so they can respond with clarity instead of reacting inconsistently. We guide them towards a direction so that their goals are sustained, not just chosen and abandoned. This is done through structure, engagement that creates shifts in daily behavior. Parents are also supported with practical understanding so they can respond without confusion and conflict. When both teens and parents move with clarity in one direction, the environment begins to change. It's not about helping only teens succeed. Every aware, grounded teen contributes to the society we are building. In that sense, parenting is not just personal, it's a quiet and powerful action of nation building. Across India, we are already seeing schools, institutions, and policymakers calling for more mindful digital use and stronger support for teen mental well-being. Ikigai Teen is aligned with that direction, bringing it into everyday family life in a practical, consistent way. Because this is not about something to keep discussing, it is something that we can begin to act on right here, right now.